But I want to ask you a question about that mentality that we have where we say, tomorrow, I'll get to that later. One of these days, probably not today, not yet. Is if God has called you to do something, to be somebody, to share your faith with somebody, to put water in somebody's house, He's not called you to do that later. He's called you to do it today. He's called you to do it now. What if tomorrow never comes? Is it a time for us to be living in our panel houses while the broken world, man, that we live in and work in every day, just in shambles? How is it we can go on and on, living our American dream, you know? And I say that, man, I'm doing this as much as I'm doing that because that's me. Living our American dream, and the world around us, man, is just broken and hungry and hurting and dirty, that needs to know the light and hope that is in Jesus Christ. And we might get to that someday. But I'll tell you one thing. The things that we want in our lives, the things that are important to us, they don't happen tomorrow. They happen today. Listen to this verse. Give careful thought to your ways. He starts to repeat this. Give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but harvested little. You eat, but never have enough. You drink, but never have your fill. You put on clothes, but are not warm. Listen, you earn wages only to put them in a purse with holes in it. God says, let me tell you what living for yourselves and living for the world has done for you. You keep stacking up your stuff, this and that, and as we live this American dream, He says you're going to get to the point where you're never going to have enough. Nothing is ever enough. You're going to have this, you're going to have that, you're going to live this, you're going to have that, and you're going to have more than anybody else in the world has, and you're never, ever going to have enough. It will never, ever be enough for you. God says, don't you see? Don't you see that living for yourselves is just going to make you more hungry and hungry and hungry for the things of the world, and it's never, ever going to be enough? He said you put your money in purses with holes in it. You know what He's saying? You can't get enough. You can't get enough of yourselves. And man, for us, you know, I've said this before, but when over half the world don't even have a mattress to sleep on or running water, do you realize all the blessings and good things in your life, no matter how many there are or how small they are, that all that comes from God? That in a second, all of that could be gone. And the only thing that will have mattered is were you building His church when you were on this earth. Verse 12. Then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, Joshua, son of Josedek, the high priest, and the whole remnant of the people obeyed the voice of the Lord their God and the message of the prophet Haggai, because the Lord their God had sent him, and the people feared the Lord. So let's recap a little bit. These people live in their paneled houses off the first fruits and the fats of the land. They're living high on the hog, okay? And I tell you, when I tell you all this, they're living high on the hog. God says, when are you going to do my work? When are you going to be my people? God, I'm too busy stacking all this up. You know, I mean, I'm working on a new whatever. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. God, I'm worried about me. I'm doing my thing right. I don't have time. God said, don't you realize that all that stuff you got came from me anyway? So He took it all away. And when He took it all away, it brought them to their knees, and they realized that God was the only thing in their lives worth living for anyway, that maybe they should start doing His work. And it said, then the people feared the Lord. They came back. They decided, no, God, not tomorrow. Today. God, I'll do it today. When God's people decided that it was time to start being His people and doing His work, there was this complete affirmation and His blessing on them that said, "You're my people, and I'm your God, and I am with you in this work." But this word is, don't be so consumed with yourself and your stuff that you can't do the work God called you to do and be the people God called you to be.